Here is why we put heel hooks on our fundamentals curriculum. 2 reasons. First of all, if you don't start learning these techniques when you first start doing jiu-jitsu, if you don't see them, you're going to be at a great disadvantage when you learn them when they become legal years later. The second and more important reason is safety. For a long time, nobody taught heel hooks to white belts just because they weren't legal at that level and they were considered dangerous leg locks, which they are. Now, I don't want anybody who it is not legal at their belt level using these techniques in rolling. What I do want us to do is demystify these techniques, to understand them, to understand not to do them, first of all, but also to understand that, like, when you get caught in these positions, here's how to keep yourself safe, here's what this technique is, and here's how not to panic when you get involved with it. I will always remind you, it's never a terrible mistake to tap too early. Even if you think that, hey, I'm probably not in trouble here, if you just don't understand a position or you're nervous about a position when you're sparring, it's totally okay to tap, particularly when there's a thing like a heel hook involved. Now, the last thing I'll say, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but just the rationale for why heel hooks are not legal until the upper belt levels, for most submissions, there's a pain signal for you to tap. That's like, oh, this hurts, I better tap now. Happens with arm bars, happens with air chokes, right? Like that gable grip choke. You feel it hurt and you tap. With a heel hook, usually because it attacks the knee, a lot of times you don't realize it just feels tight and then suddenly there's an injury. And we always want to avoid injury at this academy. So let's talk about how to get into a heel hooking position, what's illegal about it, but the mechanic for how to finish it. So you're gonna hear, let's start from the straight ankle lock position, which is also called ashigarami, right? So we have the single leg X, and I'm wrapping this for my straight ankle lock. You're gonna hear a term called reaping the knee. Reaping the knee is almost always illegal at jiu-jitsu tournaments except for advanced no-gi. What reaping the knee is where my outside foot comes over his hip and crests his hip line while I force his knee to turn in. So for example, watch Elias's knee. See how I'm making it turn in as my leg comes over? That's reaping. And that puts an inordinate amount of stress on the knee, which is why it's not legal until the upper belt levels when people can apply it with control. I want you to know that because I don't ever want us to reap knees in here except among people who are, you know, black and brown belts who have a lot of success with, or who have experience with this sort of thing. However, the first heel hook that you will learn, and this is the one that is on our fundamentals curriculum, is the reaping the knee heel hook from the ashigarami position, and what people will then call outside ashi, or the over-under position. So I have the straight ankle lock, right? And I could go for the straight ankle lock here. But what we want to do to heel hook someone is we want to reap the knee, and I want to feed this leg over his hip and under this knee. So to do that, the way we're going to do that, I'm pinching my knees, my hands are on the mat, and I move my knees in. My legs come over, and I thread. And now if Elias tries to get away, he's stuck, right? He's in a bit of a knot. So I want to explain what makes the mechanic of the heel hook work. The heel hook, although the word heel is in the name, and you'll see me hook the heel in a second, it attacks the knee. What we do is we isolate the knee joint. As you see, Elias's knee is not able to move, and then we rotate the heel so that the knee joint tears apart. The way that we do this is I strike the toes, and I wave hi mom under the heel, right? I would, and obviously you can see me being very gentle and calm here, palm to palm, and just very gently rotate the heel, and Elias taps. When we drill this in our fundamentals classes, we're not even going to finish. We're just going to get to the position and catch it so you can sort of see what's going on here. As you can see, we're isolating the knee, and then when the toes go one way and the heel goes another and the knee can't move, it's really bad for the knee. So let's talk about this over-under heel hook. You can see how with my knees pinching together, I can use my hips to just move Elias's knee around, right? But a lot of times what will happen when Elias feels himself getting straight ankle locked is he will try to turn away from the straight ankle lock. He'll try to turn away that direction. And that's what sets up the heel hook. So you'll see me, as he tries to turn away, this foot feeds the leg to that foot. So now he's trapped, right? Other concept I want to tell you about is the knee line. And we'll talk about this when we talk about how to undo this entanglement as well. My knees make a line. As long as his knee's behind that line, you feel like your knee's in danger? Awesome. If his knee escapes that line, and we'll tell you how to do that in a second, then he's out of danger. So for this over-under heel hook, this is what stops him from rolling away from me. You can see that the pressure is taking in this direction, and if he can't roll that way to overcompensate the pressure, he's going to get tapped. Heel hooks are about toes, and toe holds are about heels. We'll get into that in a second. I push his toes down, come under the heel, and just very gently rotate the heel up for the tap. I could also, I'm not going to go too much into heel hook finishing details here, but we can also use our hips. But just showing you that just using your hand will finish the heel hook is enough. So that is our knee reap. That is a heel hook. Those things are not legal until advanced no-gi, and they're never legal at many IBJJF tournaments. What I want to show you now is show you how Ilias would defend that. And more or less, what we want to do in order to defend a heel hook is go with the pressure knot into it and free the knee line. So what he's going to do, why don't you heel hook me? So Ilias gets me in the straight ankle lock, right? And I'm like, man, Ilias has straight ankle locked me a bunch. I got to get out of here. So I turn away, and as he turns away, he tries to get this leg under. Now, I can't let that happen, because then I won't be able to turn away. And you can see, actually, you can see how if Ilias were to just grab my heel, and I just rolled, right, it would be difficult for him to finish, because there's nothing stopping me from rolling. And so I just go with the pressure. But there's 3 levels to escape. There's resistance, escape, and counter. And this would just me being resisting. I'm just trying to stay ahead and not get tapped. So you see how his knees are here, and my knees behind it? What I want to do is post my hands, drop my knee to the mat. And now, if Ilias grabs my heel or whatever, doesn't matter. He doesn't have the leverage to break my leg. And usually, I can just pull my leg out. If I'm standing and he tries to reap, you'll see this a lot in no-gi grappling. Turn the knee down and pull the leg out. And you see how that frees the knee line. Now I'm going to have Ilias get the over-under position this time and show why that defeats the defense of the entanglement. So as he comes under, right, can I roll? And just don't hook my heel, please. But can I roll? Really hard. I got a backstop here. Can I get my knee to the mat? If he just sits there and lets me, then eventually, yes. But that's why we get to the over-under position and control it, because it defeats the defense to the heel hook. Conversely, in order to undo the entanglement, we have to go with the pressure, not into the pressure, and we have to escape our knee from their knee line. And that's the last reason I'm showing the heel hook as part of the fundamentals curriculum, because the time, there are 2 ways we prevent injuries. The first is we create a rolling culture where people don't just dive on things and start ripping them. That's never going to be acceptable here. And where you finish things with control, right? You control the position and slowly finish with control. If you couldn't finish with control, you can't finish. Second is we understand the mechanics of a position. And so if I get caught in that over-under position, even if Ilias is not touching my heel, I know I'm going to have to tap. If I can't get out, I know I'm going to have to tap. The way that injuries happen is people move too fast in a position that they don't understand. And so if you watch even people that really do understand leg locks and fighting, a lot of times if you explode the opposite way, that's when injuries happen. And so that's why we're taking the time to sort of explain heel hooks, demystify them, and make sure that everybody has a safe rolling experience in addition to learning the technique.